Imagine you get up tomorrow morning and your car won't start.
Yeah, I'd rather not imagine that.
Okay, so add to that your neighbor's car doesn't start either. In fact, none of the cars in your entire town started. Buses, trucks, delivery vans, everything is dead.
Come on, that would never happen, right?
Actually, it did. It
What?
really did. Yeah, sort of. It was back in 1872.
So let me guess. Jim Duffy, Secrets of the Eastern Shore, here to clean up this mess.
That's right. He is here talking about the great epizootic of 1872.
That is the word of the day
Word
on
of the day.
DelmarvaLife, epizootic. Epizootic, we all know the word pandemic.
Sure.
It is a pandemic among non-human animals.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you wanted to remember this for later, like you were studying it or something like that, the little ditty would be, in 1872, all of our horses got the flu.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That doesn't sound nice.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't nice. It wasn't a fatal flu. Only 1 to 2% of horses died, but they were out of commission for like 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
Really?
It's largely a forgotten incident in history, but it's kind of interesting. You know, the 1870s were kind of like our time now. The light bulb was invented, the telephone was invented, the internal combustion engine was invented. You felt like you were on this whole brink of brave new future. And then this weird horse flu came through and showed everything to be like a house of cards. Like it all collapsed. And you got to kind of think through it for a moment to see that. So if a guy, say in Selbyville, a farmer loads up strawberries on a train and ships them off to New York, or a fisherman somewhere in Virginia gets them on a steamboat to ship up to Baltimore. What happens when they get there? They end up on a dock.
They sit there.
And then they have to get pulled by horses to an auction house or to a store or something like that. And that's all over the economy. It turns out that there's these steamboats flying and railroads flying, but the last couple of miles, it's all about horsepower.
Huh.
Do they know where it actually started?
So the horse flu started in Toronto, and it was, like I said, it was not fatal, but the infection rate was like 100%. So once one horse got it, the entire town got it. They were all out for like 3 or 4 weeks, this rasping cough and a fever, and they couldn't work at all. And so you got 3 or 4 weeks with no horses, which is very much like our not having any cars. Like
Right.
nothing, no food would get to restaurants, no food would get to stores, oysters piled up on docks, fruit and vegetables all spoiling up on docks, and the entire economy completely fell apart. It was crazy.
That's why they needed like a DoorDash back then. That would have been helpful.
They did.
So what was it like here on Delmarva?
It got to Delmarva right around this time of year. So I think it was late October, it got into Delaware, and then it was in Virginia by the middle of November. Newspaper articles were full of ads for horse blankets because that's all you could really do. There was no cure. A lot of people selling quack cures, but there was no cure. You just had to keep your horse warm for a couple of weeks and get it. Reports of no mail deliveries, reports of things stacked up on docks. But we were lucky in a way because we didn't have it as bad as Boston. A fire broke out in the downtown there. It was a really horrible fire, like 30 people died. But it should never have gotten out of hand. It got out of hand because they didn't have any horses to pull the fire equipment.
So were there any lasting effects to the epizootic?
Yeah, there were a couple. So I mentioned that there were a lot of quack cures. Anybody could be a horse doctor back then. You just called yourself a horse doctor and you were in business. But this experience with all those quack cures got kind of veterinary education going. A whole bunch of people started looking into alternatives to horses, and 15 years, Richmond had an electric streetcar system, the first one in the country. So yeah, there were a lot of
little bit of progress on that.
interesting
Yeah.
effects. Yeah.
Jim
afterwards.
Duffy, Secrets of the Eastern Shore. Thank you as always.
Thank you.
Who knew?
New.